McDargh, and I was asked if I would answer a couple questions. So I decided to do it with the spoken word. After all, that's why you come to this website. So the first question is, what do you want audiences to walk away with at the end of your presentation? Well, I speak on resiliency, resilient leaders, resilient organizations, resilient living, as well as resilient relationships. So what do I want? I want my audience to walk away realizing the untapped strengths that they have. I want them to walk away with concrete action items, and I want them to walk away with a sense of renewed commitment about who they are, what they do, who they do it with, and whom they do it for. And I'd also like people walking away with a clearer idea of the importance of legacy and what every individual brings. And in the bargain, I want them to have a good time too, because laughter is what binds all and is what makes my keynote presentations unique. We all like to think that we're unique. Let me tell you what meeting planners and audience people tell me, because I can't see what I do. Here's what I hear. I hear that the energy and connection that I have with an audience is, quite frankly, unique and catalyzing. I also hear that I am one of the few presenters who spends as much time as I do in pre-work, really trying to understand that audience. What are the contexts with which that meeting is being held? What are the nuances of language? And I use a lot of story as well as metaphor and, frankly, gestures. Gestures because they become a form of heuristic that allows an audience to remember what are the key learning points. I also am very much in the moment. I like to play with an audience. I like to facilitate their own interaction depending upon the audience's size and how much time I have. So that's what my audiences and meeting planners tell me. How do I define a resilient leader? A resilient leader is one who, first and foremost, is incredibly authentic and is willing to not only tell the truth, but to listen to the truth. And in the bargain, practices something that I call intelligent optimism. Intelligent optimism is being able to reframe an event so that people see what is possible rather than what is impossible. I also think that a resilient leader is someone who has a penchant for action, wise action, not knee-jerk, but wise action. This is a type of leader that doesn't look behind, that doesn't pay attention to yesterday's news, because frankly, that's old. They help engage the people around them in a way of looking at what can we do today that'll make us better tomorrow. And by the way, I define resiliency not as bouncing back, but rather growing through challenge as well as opportunity, so that the individuals and the organization end up stronger and better on the other side. Another question I am often asked is, what kind of tip can I give for people who want to achieve work-life balance? Well, the first thing I do is throw out that word balance, because when you hear it, immediately the picture in your head is a scale of justice, and the implication is that balance is equality. I use a very different metaphor. I talk about the metaphor of sailing and about how we are connected with the important parts of this personal life that is our boat. So that's the first thing. The other thing is I think we all need to develop horse sense. Horse sense is the ability to say nay or whoa, as the case may be. We often find ourselves saying yes to things that are either not ours to do, need to be done a different way, or can be done by someone else. Or frankly, if we do it, you just have to hold your nose, hold your hand, and get it done. There are many, many ideas that I have to help individuals create what I think of as resilient living. But it is all done through the power of what do I choose? And we all are gifted with many choices, even if sometimes we don't like to admit it. Keynote presenter is constantly looking for life experiences and incidents that can serve as teaching moments. I am frankly a storyteller and a maker of meaning. You could hand me, this thing of Scotch tape, and I would be able to find a lesson in this Scotch tape. It is the commonality that keeps us all together, and it's constantly around us. The other thing is I'm somewhat of a stand-up comedian. I like to play with an audience in the moment. You can never tell what I could hear that could be used as a way to create that kind of bond. And oftentimes, quite frankly, I become the person who can say what everyone else is thinking, but no one is willing to say. And I can do it in a way that provides humor. And that's part of life's experience. The last question I was asked was, who or what inspires me? Frankly, my mother inspires me. I just lost her, age 95. She was an incredible role model. She was one of the first women in med school at Temple University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She also was a Women's Air Force Service pilot, or WASP. World War II. Was one of the 1,074 women who flew collectively 60 million air miles of domestic wartime duty, flying every plane in the U.S. arsenal so that the men could be freed for combat duty in both the Pacific and European theaters. She's an incredible mom. She's the kind of mom you wanted to be with if there was ever any trouble, and who also had this great sense. And some of the last things she said to me was, let's be daring, let's have an adventure. Wow. I think that's pretty inspirational.